The Windows operating system actually has some settings that can adjust how the keyboard behaves, just like we had settings for the mouse. Fortunately, the keyboard only has a couple of settings, unlike the mouse, which can be very time-consuming. Let's go ahead and take a look at these, though, by moving down to the bottom left of the screen and clicking on our Start button. If you're on Windows XP, you would then need to click Control Panel and then double-click your keyboard settings. On Windows Vista and Windows 7, we can simply type Keyboard. Now, I could certainly take my mouse, move up near the top of the Start menu, and click on Keyboard. But because we're talking about the keyboard, I'm going to use my arrow keys instead. On-screen keyboard is currently highlighted, but if I press my down arrow twice, once, twice, then it highlights the keyboard command I actually want. Then I can press Enter on the keyboard to launch this. Now I'll move up and we'll take a look at the couple of options that we have here. For the keyboard, they include the repeat delay and the repeat rate. The repeat delay determines how long, if I hold down a key, before the computer starts to repeat that letter. So for example, if I held down the letter A, would it immediately start typing A, or would there be a little bit of a delay? The second thing is how fast does it repeat? So let's do this. Let's first of all click and drag and move the delay to a long period of time, and likewise move the repeat rate to slow. Now I'm going to click down at the bottom where it says click here and hold down a key, and we'll actually see how this works. Now I'm going to do some counting because you can't actually see. I'm going to press and hold the A key, and then I'm going to count so we can see how long until the second A appears, and then we'll also see how fast it repeats. So I'm pressing A now. 1, 2. Now you saw that there was kind of a delay there. Let me do that again. I'm using my backspace key to get rid of those A's. Hold, and there it goes. Now keep that in mind when I move these to the other end. Now I'm going to say that I want a short delay, and I want it to repeat very quickly. Now I'll move back down and I'll click. Move my cursor out of the way so you can see it. And now press and hold now, and you can see almost immediately, and it's a lot faster. Now for this particular computer, I'm not seeing as much of a difference as I do on some other computers. So actually, your operating system, your processor, and a lot of other different things like hardware can make a difference on how this appears. The point is that if you're ever typing and you tend to be the kind of person that presses your keys slowly and maybe tends to hold them down a little bit longer than a faster typist, if you end up getting multiple letters when you didn't want them, you can come in here and you can say, I want to make the repeat delay longer, and I want to make the repeat rate slower. That way it will work the way that you want it to. The one last thing that we have in here that's not completely related to the keyboard, but it's at the very bottom of this dialog box, is something called the cursor blink rate. For most people, the default is going to be comfortable, and we can see it over here. If you want to make it go faster, you can drag the slider, and you can actually bring it all the way down where it actually is none. Now I don't ever recommend that, because if you look at this, we have a hard time seeing that that's a cursor. It looks more like it could be a letter L. So we always want to have it somewhere. The point is that you want to have it fast enough that it's easy for you to see, but not so fast. And honestly, one of the reasons they added this is because they have found the blink rate for people who may have seizure tendencies can actually cause them to have small seizures, sometimes larger ones. That's not something we want. So for most of us, it's just going to be an optical thing. How do we want to see it? But for other people, there may be some medical reasons why you want to slow down your cursor rate. That's all we wanted to look at. So I'm going to go ahead and click Cancel because I don't want to save any of these settings. And now I know how to set up my keyboard to behave just the way I want it to accommodate the type of typing style that I